On this slide, we are going to learn about how Minnesota became a territory. And there's two questions that will go with this slide. Question one, what would becoming a territory allow Minnesota to do? And there's three things that you're going to look for or listen for in this reading. The second question says, how did Minnesota become a territory? So let's jump over to our textbook and read pages 7.10 to 7.11. Minnesota becomes a territory. In 1848, 61 men met in the growing lumber town of Stillwater along the St. Croix River. Women were not allowed to vote. The men agreed to send a delegate or representative to Washington, D.C. Successful fur trader Henry Sibley from Mendota was chosen. He would go to the U.S. Congress and request a new territory called Minnesota be created. If approved, a governor would be appointed to lead the territory. The citizens would be able to elect representatives to a territorial legislature that would make laws for Minnesota. They would also be allowed to create their own judicial courts that would decide whether people had broken those laws. Becoming a territory was the first step to becoming a state. The settlers had to wait about 6 months for Congress to answer their request. Members of Congress argued about where to draw the boundaries for the new territory. Finally, in the spring of 1848, Congress passed a law establishing Minnesota as a U.S. territory. Now the citizens could send any delegate, an elected delegate, to Congress. Again, Minnesotans chose Henry Sibley. The territory's other important officer was a governor, but Minnesotans didn't get to choose him. The President of the United States did that. President Zachary Taylor appointed Alexander Ramsey. He lived in Pennsylvania, but he soon moved to Minnesota to serve as territorial governor. Both Ramsey and Sibley played important roles in Minnesota's development over the following years. One of their first goals was to get the Dakota to give up their lands in southern Minnesota. They achieved that goal in 1851 with the signing of the treaties of Traverse des Sioux and Mendota. Go ahead and head to slide 17 now and answer the two questions about how Minnesota became a territory.